Well, Rahul, the Iraqi Foreign Minister and External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj will just have a photo op, after which the official talks between the two leaders will begin. And like I said, there are many items on the agenda: bilateral trade, petroleum, economic cooperation between the two countries. But foremost and top of the agenda for India today is the 39 missing Indians. India is going to seek more details from the Iraqi Foreign Minister as to what is it that they have on the latest developments. We spoke to the Iraqi ambassador, who said that he does not have information, but also added that maybe the Iraqi authorities are keeping some sort of secrecy given the security scenario and security considerations. In all probability, the Iraqi Foreign Minister, Rahul, might update Sushma Swaraj, the External Affairs Minister, as to what is their latest intelligence gathering on the 39 Indians that have who've gone missing after the India Today impact and the expose, the exclusive reporting that we've done from Iraq. Rahul, the Iraq embassy yesterday put out a statement saying that there is that the investigation and the search operations are ongoing, and that the Iraqi authorities are in constant touch with the Indian authorities. There's a lot of explanation and explaining that the External Affairs Minister will have to do, but for now, what we're given to understand from our sources within the Iraqi embassy is that the Iraqi authorities are also going to explain in detail of how Mosul is now free of ISIS, but ISIS has moved to various other parts, including parts of Syria, Raqqa, and are going to share details on maybe the 39 Indians could have been taken from Iraqi territory to the Syrian territory. These are details that would emerge after the meeting, but what we're given to understand is that this certainly could be one of the areas of discussion when it comes to details that the Iraqi Foreign Minister will be sharing with his Indian counterpart.
In addition to the meeting with the External Affairs Minister, the Iraqi Foreign Minister will also be meeting Dharmendra Pradhan, the Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas, at Shastri Bhavan this afternoon, and then he will be meeting the Vice President at his residence later this evening. I want to go across to our National Affairs Editor, Rahul Srivastav. He has all the latest on what's going on inside Parliament for both the government and the opposition. This is a key issue. Rahul, one by one, take our viewers through the strategy of the government in its defense and the opposition in the attack they intend to mount.
Rahul, I have spoken to a cross-section of leaders from the opposition, be it Sitaram Yechury of the left, the JDU and others. There is one very simple, single line which is emerging, that one, the opposition is going to formulate a joint strategy, especially after the India Today report. And second, the fact that they are all waiting for some kind of a clarity after the meeting from between Sushma Swaraj and her Iraqi counterpart. What the opposition is saying, that rushing headlong into the issue can let the government get away, because once the meeting with the Iraqi Foreign Minister is over, then the government will have to come out clean on what exactly transpired in the meeting and what exactly is the latest. I can say that almost every top leader inside Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha has seen the India Today report, and that is where perhaps the view emerging from the opposition is that how can the government of India, in a very dynamic situation, in a place where Indian interests are, because if you realize that Indian agencies have been monitoring the ISIS activities, those who could be joining, those who have joined from India, and attempts to ensure that more Indians don't join, ISIS has been on the radar. Not only agencies within India, but abroad also.
Stay with me, Rahul. We're getting these live images from the External Affairs Ministry, the Iraqi Foreign Minister meeting India's External Minister Sushma Swaraj. These are images playing out first on India Today. Remember, the one hope that the government had held out to the relatives of those who were missing is that when Al Jafri, the External Affairs Minister of Iraq, comes to India, he will have information. He will come with the latest information. But the problem really, Rahul, is that given the current condition of Iraq, to be able to put this information together by itself seems very difficult, because if the Indian government is to be believed, till last week they thought that Badush was too difficult to get into. So there's a complication there on account of what's happening on the ground currently in Iraq.
Yes, Rahul, that's what from the government sources, if you listen to them, there is generally one very clear line emerging, that the government was depending too heavily on what could be called filtered information which was coming from Iraq. It seems that there was no independent information generation from the Indian side as far as the condition Badoosh is concerned. And that's that the time lapse in the time when Badoosh fell till now, the government, depending on that information, was presenting a picture that the 39 Indians were in Badoosh. And that is where perhaps the weakness of the entire information matrix of the government system and the government statement lies. That if Badoosh fell long ago, then where exactly were the people? Now, what the government is now trying to scramble, working backwards and trying to find exactly, were there some people who were taken from Badoosh to other regions? Interestingly, some sources in the MEA are saying that close by there is no ISIS settlement where prisoners are being kept. Now, this one interesting element, that if there is no ISIS establishment close by where prisoners are being held, where exactly are the prisoners if they have been transferred to some place? And that's where perhaps the weakness lies. That was the Indian government, despite a visit by a Minister of State, General VK Singh, to that country, was the Indian government onto this fact that they need to monitor what happens and
Geeta,
where
has
exactly
the MEA been able to explain this, even if it's in an off-record briefing? What do they have to say? Because this is very, very embarrassing. You've got people on the ground and you've got the External Affairs Minister saying publicly that she thinks that the battle is still on in Badoosh, that these people could be in Badoosh prison. That Badoosh prison was destroyed months ago. The specific date of decimation may not be known, but several months ago is what the Iraqi army is telling us, and yet the Indian government seems to have been totally confused about what was happening on the ground.
Well, we have been asking questions to the Ministry of External Affairs, Rahul. No response from them, apart from the fact that they continue to maintain that Indian authorities do not have a writ in a country that is foreign, on foreign territory, and hence had to rely on the Iraqi authorities. And whatever details they shared with public on the floor of the House were details that were shared to them by the Iraqi authorities. And hence, there isn't much that they could have done in terms of not relying upon or not agreeing with the Iraqi government. What we are looking at is a preparation of statement, Rahul, where the Indian government is very specifically going to say that all the inputs that they were getting was from a government, an elected government in a foreign country, and hence there is no way that the External Affairs Minister was really misleading the country, and that is going to be their argument when they prepare that statement to speak in Parliament, or for that matter outside. There is going to be a press conference of the Iraqi Foreign Minister after his entire day's engagements. Later in the evening, we will be there to ask him these questions, and in all probability the Iraqi authorities, with the statement that I saw yesterday, have come prepared, trying to at least ensure that the Ministry of External Affairs over here does not suffer a loss of face, Rahul.
Okay, stay with us, Geeta. These are live images from Parliament. I want to go back to Rahul Srivastav as we look at these images of the External Affairs Minister of Iraq meeting with India's Foreign Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. You've had an opportunity to speak to people in Sushma's office. You've also had an opportunity to speak to the opposition leaders. They're moving a privilege motion. Any idea yet about when this privilege motion could be submitted by, and when is this discussion likely to happen?
Rahul, the Congress's Mr. Bajwa was supposed to be the principal mover of a privilege motion, and what a very interesting point that Mr. Bajwa and some opposition leaders have said, that though the government of India can say that it did not have any direct, what you call official communique as far as the status of Badoosh or the Indians, 39 Indians, the fact is that there are entities, global entities, which are working on the ground in areas like Batish. For example, the Red Cross, the Red Crescent is present there, and these entities do share information with respective governments of that area, and these agencies also share information with international agencies. So is it possible that Red Cross or Red Crescent won't have informed the agencies there that Badoosh has fallen, people have been moved, or what exactly is the fate of people who were housed in Badush jail prison. These are perhaps the gaps. What we are being told that the Congress leaders are drafting a privilege motion. This motion will be put up in front of Congress leaders, and it is most likely that it may get taken up tomorrow. Now, the submission of the notice has a single procedure. It is submitted to the chair, and the chair takes up the matter with in a meeting, and then it is the discretion of the chair whether it is allowed or not. Now, what is happening that to ensure that it is not an isolated Congress attempt, the Congress is trying to build bridges with all the opposition, non-BJP, non-NDA political parties. Parties like the left are already on board. We are told the JDU is agreeing to this, that there should be a motion. There are parties like the NCP which are moving with a sense of caution. NCP leaders are saying that one will have to examine what exactly transpires in the meeting today with the Iraqi foreign minister, because if despite a meeting today with the Iraqi foreign minister, there is no change as far as the statement from the government or the position of the government is concerned, then the opposition will have much stronger firepower to attack the government.
Okay, those are the first images you're seeing of the External Affairs Minister meeting her Iraqi counterpart. Remember, there will be dialogue with the Petroleum Minister later this afternoon. These are the first pictures being sent to us. India's Ministers of State, VK Singh and MJ Akbar, standing right behind as we see Al Jafri, the External Affairs Minister of Iraq, now coming in to meet India's Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj. Geeta Mohan is with us from right where this meeting is taking place. Let's just for a moment see if I can pick up any audio. The camera is really far away. I doubt we will, but for a moment we'll try. Geeta, give our viewers a sense of what the agenda for this meeting is and whether or not, and this is when we'll know whether or not the Iraqi Foreign Minister has any new information for the Indian side.
Well, Rahul, the bigger picture over here is that India has been engaged with Iraq. The External Affairs Minister has been engaged with the Foreign Minister of Iraq for a very long time now, not just for the 39 missing Indians, but also the entire Indian community that still exists and continues to live, reside and work in Iraq. And hence there is going to be a lot of discussion over the security and safety of those Indians who are in Erbil, who are in north of Iraq, while the Iraqi authorities continue to maintain it's safe now for Indians to stay there. But that certainly will also be an aspect of conversation between the two leaders. Right now what we're looking at is the top focus for Sushma Swaraj, who has been in a huddle with the top officials of the Ministry of External Affairs since yesterday. In all probability for the past 2 days after India Today came out with that huge exclusive from Mosul as to how to now deal with the situation. The fact that it is out in the open that these 39 Indians, Rahul, have gone missing from Iraq but might not be in Iraq, certainly are not in a prison in Badush that is absolutely in a shambles. And now what we are looking at.
Okay, these are the latest images of External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj meeting her Iraqi counterpart Geeta Mohan and our entire National Bureau tracking the story very, very close.